more of it.
We got to run the football better, more. And we're going to continue to work at it and see if we can't, continue to bring it to life. The running game has looked well in order right now. We needed to get more of them. That's part of it. That's just mixing football. That's how you do it. We don't want to ever rely on the quarterback has to do the whole show and sit in a shotgun and throw the football. Never coach that way. And so we have to mix our stuff so that we can use our play action game.
Yeah, Pete wants Chip to run the football more. That's why they picked Ashton Jeanty. That is Pete. Pete likes defense in the run game. Geno Smith. They wanted Matt Stafford. Stafford chose the Rams. I think Pete wanted Sam Darnold. Reportedly, not me, this is reported, Tom Brady didn't want Sam Darnold. So I just think you're limited with Geno Smith, but Pete knew him, was familiar, but you're limited. He's going to throw a lot of picks, and it's like a lot. So my question with Pete is not energy. I had no problem with a hire. It's that his last few defenses in Seattle were no good, and Mike McDonald took over, and they're really good. Now, some of that's John Snyder's draft picks. They've hit in a lot of them. But, Jesse Minter shows up to an awful Chargers defense. It is good by week 3 the next year. Mike McDonald, Seattle, overnight, defense is better. So there's an argument that Pete hasn't reinvented himself defensively, and that's why he was let go. I have no problem with Pete. They spent most of their draft picks on offense. The TCU receiver's been, third down guy. Genty's really good. Some offensive line picks that are okay. But I think the question with the Raiders is, do you get the magic of Pete Carroll's defense, which we really haven't seen since 2017? It's not the offense. Geno Smith, lower your standards. It's not going to be great. Colton Miller's hurt. Brock Bowers banged up. The offense is just going to be okay. Pete needs to get that defense humming, and the Jesse Minters and Mike McDonalds have been able to do that very, very quickly. And I kind of feel like one of the reasons Pete, in the end in Seattle, his side of the ball, and that's where I always judge coaches, what are you doing with your side of the ball? Because I don't blame you if there's missed draft picks. I don't blame you if there's a mediocre to bad quarterback. What are you doing with the Raiders' defense? And right now, actually, it's regressed from Antonio Pierce's defense. Some of that may be injuries, but that's what I'm looking for with the Raiders, the magic on the defensive side, especially in that division with Herbert, Bo Nix, Peyton, and Harbaugh, and Andy Reid and Mahomes. All right, we go to Greg Cosell, 46 years, NFL Films. I would argue this week, and people are pushing back. I said, you can mark it down. With 7 coordinators over the last, since 2017, Jared Goff is number 1 or number 2 at everything in the NFL. 7 coordinators, McVay, Dan Campbell, rebuild in Detroit, and people are like, come on, Hall of Fame. And I think some of it is his first year was a bust, and strong memories, first impressions, and then Stafford's first year in L.A., he won a Super Bowl. It's like, oh, McVay punted him. But if you go to Stafford and Goff's numbers, all right, since that trade, and remember, Goff had a rebuild for 2 years in Detroit. Goff's numbers are better. When you look at Detroit, does Goff deserve more or less credit? Is it just about the run game, the O-line, or do you watch Goff and do you say, that's an elite quarterback?
I would lean more toward that. Goff, in many ways, Colin, and you know this, Goff is somewhat of a dinosaur the way people like to talk about quarterbacks now, because he's a pocket quarterback. He's not a playmaker. He's not going to leave the pocket and make those special plays. So Goff, as most quarterbacks should be, is a function of a system, and he can execute a certain system at a really high level, and he can make throws within that given system. What he does, I believe, better than any quarterback in the NFL is throw the ball between the numbers. He's a window thrower at, let's say, 16 to 25 yards. Those are very difficult throws to make in the National Football League, and I think he's the best at it. But again, he's, in many respects, people look at the Mahomes, the Allens, the obviously Lamar, even Burrow, when he's healthy, moves around quite a bit, is a better athlete than a lot of people might think. These are the quarterbacks we look to now, and Goff's not that guy. He's essentially a pure pocket quarterback, but at an extremely high level.
So I thought Mahomes was really, he didn't see Devin Lloyd. Sometimes you don't see in cluttered, congested areas.
Right.
You just don't see a linebacker. And so I was more troubled with Trevor Lawrence's fumble at the 1 or his pick. Brady threw a pick 6 in a Super Bowl. Mahomes did not see Devin Lloyd. He did not see him. But I think the last 2 weeks with a bunch of young receivers and new guys, I don't know what the film says. I think Mahomes is really dialed in right now. And again, this is not a great O-line. They have no running game.
Right.
They don't have a number 1 receiver. I think he's playing exceptionally well. What's the film say?
You know what, Colin? It's a very odd offense to watch because there's very little rhythm and timing to the offense. There's a lot of short throws. Those obviously have some rhythm. When I say short throws, within maybe 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. Occasionally, they'll take a deep shot. There's almost no timing and rhythm intermediate passing game. We just spoke about Jared Goff. There's none of that with the offense for the Chiefs. And we haven't seen that maybe for a year and a half. And then Mahomes makes special plays. His spatial awareness is as good as anybody we've ever seen. His ability to move away from people, keep his eyes downfield with unbelievable vision may be the best we've ever seen. But from an offensive conceptual standpoint, you just don't see a lot of rhythmic throws, as I said, let's say between 15 and 25 yards. And I don't know why. I can't answer as to why you don't see that, what the issue is, but you just don't see it. It's very much a random offense with, can Mahomes make plays? And he's so good at it, and he's so good on third down, particularly using his legs, that it's a tough offense to defend because defenses have to change the way they play.
So I want to talk about Eagles-Broncos, and I'll start with Bo Nix, who Vic Fangio had his number. And then in the fourth quarter, between the play calling, Bo Nix get the ball out quick, suddenly Denver got into a rhythm, and it was really pretty, and it was chunk, chunk, chunk. What did Bo Nix and Sean Payton do in the fourth that they couldn't do early?
I don't know if it was so much that they did anything dramatically different. I mean, obviously the 3rd and 15 play was great. I mean, that was a big-time play, and that came against zone coverage. But in the fourth quarter, he also hit Cortland Sutton on 2 back shoulder fades where Quinyon Mitchell had great coverage, and it was just good on good, and Nix and Sutton beat Mitchell. Those were just back shoulder. That was matchup football. You're seeing one of them right now. They started to run the ball a little bit, which they couldn't do early in the game. Nix just hung in there and played. I mean, I didn't see, watching that tape, I didn't come away feeling like, wow, all of a sudden Bo Nix turned it on and he played great. When you get, in the past game, and you know this, Colin, you get matchup football or you get schematic football where the scheme presents a clean, defined read for the quarterback. But you also get matchup football where it's one-on-one and your guy wins and sometimes he doesn't win. I mean, Nix made a great throw on the second play of the game to Sutton on a vertical route where he got on top of Mitchell and Sutton dropped it. So these things happen as well. But Sutton's he's a tough cover, and they put Mitchell on him, and Sutton won in the fourth quarter.
So Philadelphia is not doing anything particularly well. So let's just concentrate on this. I would argue, week 1, they didn't even throw to A.J. Brown. But in the last 4 weeks, he's getting as many targets statistically as Justin Jefferson. So they're trying to get him the ball, and it's still not working. Rams the exception. So why don't A.J. and Jalen Hurts work consistently? Because they're trying. The targets tell you they're trying. Well,
first of all, let's start with what they have to be based on what the quarterback is and what he isn't, which they know in the building, by the way. The quarterback has limitations in terms of where he can throw the ball effectively. He's very good throwing it outside the numbers. We saw that in the Rams game a few weeks ago when, starting in the second half, they did go one-on-one to A.J. Brown versus the Rams corners, who are not high-level corners. But one thing Jalen Hurts has never done particularly well, he's not a window thrower. He doesn't throw the ball between the numbers at, as I said, we were talking earlier, 15 to 25 yards. In fact, he's got the fewest attempts of any quarterback in the league throwing the ball between 15 and 25 yards between the numbers. He doesn't see the game that way. They have to be a running football team, and right now they're not running the ball at all. And the O-line is hurt, it's banged up, and it's not played anywhere near as well as it has the last 3-4 years when it was arguably the best in the league. I mean, they gave the ball to Barkley 5 times in the first half last week in a game they were winning, and in the second half they gave it to him 1 time. They have to be a running football team. They are not a passing team. Even last year winning a Super Bowl, they were not a passing team. Jalen Hurts had 10 games last year, Colin, where he threw for less than 200 yards. One of the best, not the best, one of the best things about Hurts is he never turns it over. That's critical for how they play. But as far as the passing game, it has limitations. You know this. Every coach plays to his quarterback. So when you watch a team and see what they do, think about what they do and then think about the quarterback.
So there are 15 quarterbacks right now in the NFL with a passer rating over 100. There were 6 2 years
that's
ago.
A lot.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I think there's a lot of good offensive coaches. I think there's a lot of zone. So for a lot of these veteran guys like a Darnold or a Baker or a Dak, you know, it's throw it to a spot, Jared Goff, and they're really good at that. It's a very much a zone league.
Right.
But I mean, Dak's pretty amazing. CeeDee's out. I would argue they don't even have a dependable number 2 receiver. It's more 3s. Their tight end's okay.
Right.
O-line still feels like, to me, it's a little patchwork, and it's okay. The film may say something different. The run game is fine. It's not special. And here's Dak putting up big numbers with a bunch of kind of numbers.